Hello everybody, I've been getting a lot of questions lately on what are the best weapons for Xiao, what about this weapon, what about that weapon, and so to answer as many of those questions as I can, I'm actually going to go over all the 4-star or greater weapons in polearms that are currently in Genshin Impact, and talk about where I would rank them. If anyone wants a too long didn't watch, the tabs on top of my screen are a good representation of my ranking. And I'll just quickly go through them. Actually, just okay. I'm gonna quickly tab through them just for anyone who just wants to look at the beginning, get the information they want, and then get out. Here's my ranking so far. It would be Dragon's Bane, Dragon's Spine, Phonies, Royal, Starglitter, Pike, Skyward Spine, Blackcliff Pole, Deathmatch, Vortex Vanquisher. I'm gonna include Hu Tao's weapon in here, just because a lot of people have asked about it. So this is where I would put Hu Tao's weapon currently. I do want to do some more calculations and testing, but I do think it can be a very good weapon and has the potential to out DPS a lot of other weapons. And then I would go to Primordial Jade as still the de facto best weapon for him. All right. So let's actually get into talking about these weapons, and before I get into talking about these weapons, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, as it really does help my channel out. I've been getting a lot of subscribers ever since I started talking about Xiao, which makes me happy because I just really want to talk about Xiao anyway, and here we are. Alright, so starting off, at the lowest place possible, I have Dragon's Bane. It offers Elemental Mastery, and it offers increased damage when opponents are affected by Hydro or Pyro. For obvious reasons, this is not that good. One, Xiao is not going to be affecting enemies with Hydro or Pyro. If you do want to play him with like a Xingqiu or someone, maybe you could make use of this passive. Elemental Mastery, again, not that important. Most of his DPS is going to be coming from his attacks alone and not from swirl damage. The swirl does not have the best scaling anyway. It's not something like Vaporize or Melt. So yeah, most of your damage will not be coming from your Elemental Mastery, and you won't be dealing Hydro or Pyro, that's why it's at the bottom. Next we have the Dragon Spine Spear. This to me could easily be switched with the Dragon's Bane. I think they're both not really good weapons for him. This weapon has very high physical damage scaling, which currently, based on what I think you should be able to do with Xiao, you should be able to aim for about 80% uptime on his ultimate. And if you're going to have that uptime, that means 80% of the time you're not going to be taking advantage of this. I do have the Pike ranked a lot higher, but that's because the Pike's passive is really good, where this passive isn't actually as nearly as good, and is mainly you actually would need a cryo character supporting you just to really get the most out of this. And I don't think this is going to be even in contention for one of his best DPS weapons. Next, we have the Phonies Lance. Energy recharge isn't the most, may not be the most important skill for him. He may need some energy recharge because of his high skill cost, or his high burst cost. I don't think it's going to be that important. I don't think it's going to be important enough to go with a weapon like Phonies that completely is just built around giving you as much energy as possible. To me, this is more of a support weapon than anything else. But it does have a good a decent base attack for a 4-star, but still I don't think it's the best. I don't think it's going to be one of the better options. Next, I place the Royal Spear. I think the Royal Spear is good if you just really don't want to worry about your crit damage. I mean, your crit rate at all, and you just want his Ascension stat to mix with this and just fight for crits through that. I think this could be a good weapon. However, again, I think it's outperformed by other weapons that provide a bit better of a passive ability or a crit-related substat. Which then brings us to the Pro-type Starglitter. Pro-type Starglitter, at first, was a really high pick for me. However, that was before his plunge attack was re-added to his burst. Now his plunge attack is on his burst, which lowered this down a lot for me. That's mainly because if you're going to be playing for the plunge spam in his burst, this effect has absolutely no benefit for him. And sure, it is easy to keep up with his elemental skill only having a 10-second cooldown, and these stacks lasting for 12 seconds. But again, it has a lower base attack. It has energy recharge, which isn't as important because they did lower his energy cost to 70. I think this lowered this weapon's priority even further. And yeah, okay, so it just doesn't synergize with his kit nearly as much as I thought it would when I thought normal and charged attacks were more important for him. And that brings us to the Crescent Pike. Crescent Pike is still pretty low on my list compared to other weapons now. Again, that physical damage will not be helping you most of the time, especially if you're aiming for that 80% uptime on his burst. But it does help its own passive all the time, and this passive mixed with his normal and charged attacks can give you a really good DPS. However, the problem with this is, again, this does not work with his plunge. So if you're going for a plunge spam build, this will not be giving you any bonus attack during his burst, which means, again, 80% of that time, this is going to be useless, which is the main reason why the Pike is so low for me. And, alright, going to his next weapon. These are where everything starts getting really good. The first one is Skyward Spine. For a long time, I've been saying Skyward Spine is a really good weapon. It's like his second best. However, after looking at calculations from myself and a couple other people, I don't know if I would recommend it nearly as highly anymore, especially if we're looking at extremely late game builds, like level 90 for weapon and character. I don't think this is going to be his best thing anymore, or even second best anymore. The attack speed doesn't seem to be giving him the highest increase in DPS. The crit rate's still nice, but the energy recharge scales even less with him. The stronger your team gets, especially if you have a battery character in your composition, this energy recharge means even less, which is why I start to scale this one out and why it's so low compared to where I had it placed before. Next, we have the Black Cliff Pole. This is a really good weapon for him. I think this weapon could even the next couple weapons can move up or down based on certain situations. The Black Cliff Pole, if you have it at higher refinement and you're able to get these stacks up, I think this can outdamage almost any of the weapons besides the Primordial Jade Spear. With its high crit damage and its high scaling, again, once you get, if you can get more stacks on this, you could really just pump out the damage, bringing his DPS higher than the next weapon, which is Deathmatch. It could be higher than Vortex Vanquisher, and I don't know if it could be higher than Staff of Homa. The only reason why I think Black Cliff could outdamage Staff of Homa is if you had 3 or higher refinements on this. Other than that, I think this the Staff of Homa still would be better. Alright, next weapon on my list is Deathmatch. Deathmatch, I think its high crit rate mixed with it's easy to keep up passive makes it a really good choice for him. I've seen calculations that actually put this even higher on the list, especially if you're using someone like Bennett. If you have Bennett using a Noble East set, in his ultimate, Deathmatch actually can start scaling and beat out every other weapon besides the Jade Spear. And that's why it's rated so high. Again, that crit rate means that you barely have to worry about crit rate at all in your substats or your or definitely not your primary stats of your artifacts, but the crit rate, the crit rate means you'll be already at over 50%. It's gonna be mean you're gonna be critting most of the time, and the easy to keep up passive, all you have to do is exist, and you get one of these two passives. Makes this a really good choice, especially when fighting enemies one-on-one, because of the even higher attack bonus you get. Next, we have the Vortex Vanquisher. Even without a shield, the 20% increase in your attack really scales high on him, especially because Xiao does have one of the highest bonus attacks in the entire... highest base attacks in the entire game, not including weapons, but just looking at his character, he does have one of the highest. Mixing that with the 608 of the Vortex Vanquisher, you're going to be getting a lot of attack from not only its passive, but you'll also be getting a lot of attack from its substat as well, making just bringing all your damage numbers higher. Again, this can be outscaled by something like a Black Cliff Pole at higher refinements, because crit damage will scale even higher than all the bonus attack that this weapon offers. But if you can keep a shield up, this will give you even better results and keep it as a top contender for a very long time. However, the problem with this weapon is I think it's going to be easier to refine both the Deathmatch and the Blackcliff Pole, because these weapons can be, we can get one of these every patch. You can get 3 of these every couple months based on the current Star Glitter exchange, meaning that those weapons can outscale the Vortex Vanquisher at just Refinement 1. We also don't, it's really hard to pull any 5-star weapons. And I'm pretty sure this isn't currently rated up, or currently even in the standard banner. If I'm wrong, then yeah, it's possible to get this high refinement and it can keep up. But if you have this refinement 1, and later on these refinement 3 or higher, then these weapons are going to be better than the Vortex Vanquisher. But the Vortex Vanquisher itself is a very good choice. Next we have the Staff of Homa. I've been looking at the staff. You could almost directly compare it to the Blackcliff Pole as a complete upgrade. Even when looking at all this bonus attack, I still think the bonus attack you'll get just from this thing's passive will keep up with even max stacks at Refinement 1. And then if you get the passive where you're under 50% health, it outscales it completely. However, again, the Blackcliff Pole could jump up to from any of the other spots from its current spot, because if you get this high refinements, all that bonus attack and its stacks will outscale all these 3 weapons. Yeah, but if you want to go for this pole really hard, pull it and get its max refinement, I think this could easily be even his best weapon if built around your crit rate and just letting this crit damage shine. I think if you're comparing max refinement to max refinement, the Primordial Jade Winged Spear is still going to win out. But I do think this weapon is really good, and currently, if it doesn't change from what it is right now, can easily compare to any of the other weapons, and can be a second best in slot because of all this additional crit damage. Its base attack being much higher than the base attack of the Blackcliff Pole, and again, the Blackcliff Pole already is one of his best weapons. So Staff of Homa could be even better than that. Yeah, that's everything for that. And then finally we have the Primordial Jade Spear. And this is still simply his best weapon all around. The biggest reason is that crit rate, plus the crit rate you already have, is going to mean you're not going to really be building too much crit rate on even your substats. And crit rate you get will be very beneficial, but you don't need to focus it nearly as much. And then all the additional attack you're going to be getting from this passive, which is going to be very easy to keep up, because it just says on hit increase attack by 3.2 seconds. It doesn't say what has to hit, so even your plunge attacks will be able to do this to build this up, and your normal attacks, any of your abilities will easily build this up. Which this will give you a very good amount of attack, especially because the base attack of the Primordial Jade Winged Spear is the highest polearm base attack in the game. I think that next to the Skyward Spine, but unlike the Skyward Spine, this actually gives you even more attack here. It gives you crit rate instead of anti-recharge, and then once you have max stacks built up on your on your Primordial Jade Winged Spear, you are going to be able to get the damage bonus, and this damage bonus is what really carries this weapon, makes it one of the absolute best, because this is a bonus to all your damage. It doesn't matter if you're plunge spamming, it doesn't matter if you're using your skill, it doesn't matter if you're normal attacks, you'll always be getting this damage bonus, which would really bring up your DPS to a whole new level. No other weapon currently offers a damage bonus to his plunge the way the Primordial Jade Winged Spear does, and that's what makes it, in my opinion, still the absolute best weapon for him. If you have any questions, please comment down below, and I'll happily answer anything that comes up. Again, I'll just go over the ranking one more time. It's Dragon's Bane all at the end, Dragon Spine, Phonies Lance, the Royal Spear, Star Glitter, Pike, which Pike does mean that Pike is currently the best free-to-play option. Unless you consider Blackcliff Pole free-to-play, then Blackcliff Pole is the best free-to-play option. But yeah, Pike's down here, Skyward Spine is so much lower just because the damage you're going to be getting out of this is so much lower than anything else, and every other weapon can scale even higher based on its substats, where the Skyward Spine doesn't really scale much. Then the Black Cliff Pole. Again, the Black Cliff Pole can go from anywhere from its spot at like 5th all the way to its to 2nd, especially at max refinement or being able to keep up max stacks. This can easily outdamage any other weapon. Deathmatch is in a similar space that it can, if you put refinements on it, it can easily outscale. Even without max refinements, though, if you have a Bennett Noblesse build in your team, the additional crit rate mixed with the additional damage you're going to be getting from this will outscale most of the other weapons. Other than that, we have the Vortex Vanquisher, which just because of its raw attack, its high base attack, high attack scaling, high attack passive, makes it one of the best weapons just for pure attack reasons. However, the problem with the Vortex Vanquisher is the fact that it doesn't help you with crit rate or crit damage, meaning you will have to build one of those. You're going to have to build crit rate on your circlet, meaning you're going to be missing out on a lot of DPS because you're not going to have as high of a crit damage, which can be an issue and why other weapons do outscale the Vortex Vanquisher. Staff of Homa, definitely a second place weapon because of the high base attack, high crit damage, and easy to scale additional attack. This weapon outshines a lot of other weapons because, again, it has better stats all around than the Black Cliff, and its attack bonus is comparable, if not even better, based on my current calculations. And it's also easier to keep up just because all you have to do is exist and you get this 0.8 bonus. And then if you're dying, you get, or less than half health, you get that 1% bonus to your max HP. A lot of people are like, this obviously is Hu Tao's weapon. Yes, it is Hu Tao's weapon. That does not mean it can't do really good on Xiao. Alright, and then finally, again, Primordial Jade Spear completely outscaled everything else. That's all I gotta say. So have a good day. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.